Real Talk Radio with your host G. Chisa. What's good, my good people? What's good? You already know what it is. Real Talk Radio with your host G. Out here doing the damn things that need to be done. We out here. You already know what it is. On the rise on this beautiful Monday. What better way to start off the week than being on the rise with, great people, awesome people who are out here doing their things, you know what I'm saying? So on today's episode of On the Rise Monday, I am joined by Zuko Cele, founder and owner of retroretro.co.za. It's an online retail vintage thrift shop, I guess I can say. Y'all gonna find out, so stay tuned as I interview him and just see what kind of inspired him and how his journey has been so far. And I hope you guys are inspired to kind of, just let out your passions and, start off whatever is in your heart, you know what I'm saying? So let's get straight into it. So welcome, Zuko, and thank you for joining me on Real Talk Radio with your host G. Thanks for coming on this episode of On the Rise Mondays. Can you just please give us a brief background on who you are and basically what you're about?
Hello, good people of the land, the motherland, and the overseas land. My name is Zuko Cele. Was born in Durban. I live in Pietermaritzburg right now. I am the founder and director of the Perspective Marketing, but formerly known by me as Retro. My background is in construction, specifically as an accounting clerk. I'm doing accounting sciences at UNISA, and although I don't have ambitions to be an internal auditor or external auditor, I firmly believe in knowledge being power. So hopefully I'll be able to use everything I'm learning in my business today. Yeah. Okay,
sweet. So can you tell us when you started Retro?
Retro was started in 2017. July 5. Basically, it was just an idea that I had after people commenting on the clothes that I did, and I'd always get people saying, "Dude, I recommend that shirt. I'm actually selling it for." And I think that's where the idea started. It started small. All I had was a denim jacket, a camera, very small camera at that point, and a side lamp to just light the scene. I think today, although not as far as I'd like to be, I've come a very long way in the journey, and the pictures have, just the products themselves, the product images have completely changed in the thrift world. I personally think. And I think, there's so much more to offer, and there's so much more going forward.
Okay, so how would you describe retro and what meaning it has for you and the meaning that you intended it to have for your customers or your target audience?
I'd say just I have a mantra which I always follow whenever I'm handling the business and I'm handling customers.
Yeah.
Always say retro is when quality meets care.
Yeah.
And that was birthed just from a place of, okay, the products which I sell are always good quality.
Mm.
It has to be good quality.
Mm.
But beyond the products, it's the customer care. It's the extent which I go to make sure that customers have a good experience. Just in general, we live in a country that hasn't really adopted buying online as much as, other countries, third world, first world countries.
Yeah.
And so my whole approach has just been to not exactly try find brand new customers every day,
Mm-hmm.
but retaining those customers that I have acquired over time. So just basically doing things and going the extra mile, like putting perfume on the clothes, wrapping the clothes up in our famous brown packaging.
Yeah.
Putting that tag that says retro retro. No, just going the extra mile and making sure the product comes with all the bells and whistles.
Okay, then, who would you say, or would you say that you have a specific target market, and how do you go about identifying them, then later catering to their preferences according to the products that you have available?
In the beginning, my target market was students predominantly.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's difficult to sort of like categorize people in terms of like their psychological state of mind or the type of fashion that they're into, because we live in a society where people adopt different things. It's very seldom where you find someone who sticks to one style or sticks to one just sticks to one language.
Yeah, true.
I guess over time I've expanded and I've just adopted different people. Some people aren't really a fan of vintage clothing, but they're a fan of that one specific shirt.
Yeah.
Do you sort of understand?
Yeah, true.
So I think going forward, and just like my whole plan for the rest of the future, is that I'm really looking at diversifying and extending my product line to different things. I'm not ready to sort of disclose that exactly. I just want to sort of just like watch it play out and see how people react. But in general, that's my approach. I feel like it's for everyone and anyone who feels like they can fit in.
Okay. So then what would you say are the major differences between the South African and American thrift markets, and how would you say the American thrift scene has kind of influenced the South African market?
I would like to come from a standpoint of being original to myself and original to my background. And I'd like to say, just like, I don't feel like America has that much of an influence on South African thrift as social media might make it seem. Because if you look back and you look at Mama Betu and look at our fathers and our parents have always had a retro style, because retro comes from a certain time. Your 80s, your 90s, your early 2000s. So I think we're just embodying what our parents used to live, what our parents used to feel. For instance, I'll make an example. Skirts, vintage skirts. When we sell vintage skirts, for instance, we might not necessarily be selling vintage skirts from America, but we might be selling vintage skirts that our mom or grandmother bought from Woolworths or Truworths like 20 years ago. Do you feel what I'm saying? So in a way, I don't feel like it's although we live in a globalized, world, I still feel like the style and the approach that South Africans have to thrift is very different from the style and approach that they have in America. Although we are experiencing a large volume of brands such as Burberry, such as Tommy Hilfiger, such as
Yeah.
Polo, Ralph Lauren, this, that, and then let's go so on. So although what I just said now is true, there is a small bit of influence from America, but from the bottom of my heart, I can't give America all the credit, you know.
Yeah. So what do you think kind of distinguishes the South African thrift market from the American thrift market, and what kind of sets us apart from them?
Um, from our side, and
Yeah.
just like from my understanding,
Mm.
um, I'd have to say it's just the clean lines, just the clean lines. If you look at a style Sakdala or like old style, and you look at it's like our uncles and you look at our moms, you really see that the type of clothing that they wear really focused on form, it focused on clean lines. Although if you look
Mm.
at like trousers, for instance, trousers would always be um, beautifully creased, you know, everything was clean. And I feel like
Yeah.
that is the embodiment of South African thrift. It has to be clean. Although
Yeah.
obviously the influence from America has brought in that whole grime aesthetic, but
Yeah.
truly to be truthful to South African vintage, you look at things more like Ikwela Kwela, like you know things from that sort of period, where, or Sapphire
Yeah.
Town, when you look at men and women who were smartly dressed. And I feel like to completely or truthfully embody South African thrift, you really have to be smartly dressed. And yeah, it's more than just wearing baggy pants or wearing baggy shirts or whatnot. It's just a looking good
Smart.
type of thing and looking smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So then what would you say the ins and outs of the thrift market are? And would you say that the South African economy is suited to the dynamics of the thrift market?
I'd definitely say it is, because if we look at it, we live in a country that has a very low, um, just the general average of people in South Africa, their income is very low. And
Mm.
so thrift, or some aspects of thrift, present um, a lower cost alternative to purchasing maybe at Mr. Price or
Yeah.
purchasing at a Woolworths or Tools. And while at the same time being a potentially lower cost alternative, the products are still very quality and they last. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then, like, in what way would you say retro has had an influence in the culture of wearing thrift clothing, and how great would you say that impact has been in the short space of time you've been operating for?
Well, if I were to just distinguish what our products are, I think our products are very colorful. We like our stock is, you know, it's not street as much as sort of other thrift brands are. We focus
Mm.
mainly on clothes that you can wear at work or wear to church or wear to events and whatnot. So I feel like
Yeah.
retro has sort of become or put itself in a place where it caters not only to the students who's going to varsity or going to their morning lecture, but it also caters to someone who's trying to look smart. And I feel like, yeah, that is exactly where we sort of fit in the market, which is your casual meets smart meets formal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you'd say you've had influence in the market. How many other thrift brands, if I may call them that, would you say follow a similar line of thought, or would you say retro is unique in trying to bring those elements together?
No, no, no. I wouldn't be able to say that. I think it's something that's always been there. Like I'm saying, this industry or this call it industry, or this market has always been here long before any of us were born. So I feel like retro in itself is just carrying on the heritage, taking the flame and moving it forward. Yeah.
Okay, so how would you say you've differentiated yourself from other thrift or vintage vendors, and what kind of sets you apart, do you think?
First of all, I would say it's product images. Being that we are an online store, most people know retro from Instagram, but a lot of people also know retro from retroretro.co.za, the online shop. And I think what's definitely made the business stand out and what's made it successful up until this point has been just the quality of product images. As a customer, when you are buying something online, your only reference and the only way you can tell how good that product is the picture which is in front of you. And I think a large part of our success has been that we have been able to just capture the product so well that customers feel confident about their decision and are happy with their decisions once they have bought it. If I look at just the history of how we've performed as a company, we seldom get customers who are looking at returns, and returns are never based on things such as quality. It would be probably looking at size, and in that case, size is always a problem, but we try our best to measure out the clothes and be accurate with our sizing. A large product which has definitely set us out though in the market has been our invention of ex-boyfriend jeans, which to this
definitely.
day, to this day, I think no other brand has sort of embodied just the extent or the awesomeness of ex-boyfriend jeans, because like our ex-boyfriend jeans are only Levi's jeans. You will never find difference. You will never find, as long as it's Levi's jeans, it's ex-boyfriend jeans. But once you start using any other brand, it's no longer being authentic to the whole ex-boyfriend jeans brand. So I think we've definitely managed to create a brand within a brand, and we'll definitely be expanding on that in the future.
But I can definitely bear testament to the whole boyfriend gene thing, because I think the first time I came through to your, I don't know, what do you call those get-togethers?
Different show.
Yes, Thrift and Chill. Yeah, when I pulled through, I think the first thing that caught my eye was the ex-boyfriend jean, and I immediately fell in love. So yeah, I can definitely bear testament to the fact that when I think boyfriend jeans, I immediately also think retro. So yeah, no, I thought that was pretty dope.
Definitely. Even now that you bring the Thrift and Chill up, that has also been a very crucial part of our success as a brand, and being able to also grow out of just being online. I think it's also very important to some degree as an online business to interact with your customers, potential customers, and interact with the market on a physical, platform, which so you understand, and people sort of understand where your business, what sentiments your business holds. All of our Thrift and Chills have been very intimate events that have just, they just create that vibe, especially in Pietermaritzburg, a city that is so focused on, I'd say, upbeat events, that have like loud music. Okay, not to say we don't have loud music, but that have, that focus very much on nightlife, alcohol, this, that, and third. I think the Thrift and Chills really present a different approach because to some degree they're very family friendly. They also just allow people who aren't exactly the most social to socialize, to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, and would you say that Thrift and Chill kind of adds to the retro culture that you're trying to build up?
It definitely does. It definitely does. From the first one, which was in my backyard here at home, to it slowly grew. And it's still growing. Unfortunately, with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, it's affected just our ability to host events and host a large number of people.
Yeah.
But going forward, we'd definitely like to do something for December. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you see yourself branching out of PMB with the Thrift and Chills? Because obviously a majority of them have been here in Pietermaritzburg.
Interesting question. Very interesting question. At this point, the products travel more than the business does in itself, or I do it personally. I would like to see the business or the Thrift and Chill sort of popping up in places like Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg, and I think at some point we'll get there. However, with things such as this, it requires a lot of brand power and people to believe in the brand. And I feel like we're slowly getting there, as the numbers increase after in each event. It gives us that reassurance that we're going somewhere. And who knows, maybe the next one will be in Cape Town or Johannesburg. Who knows? However, I still feel like a large part of me has not seen what I want to see happen here in Pietermaritzburg. So I'll continue just developing the culture. And I also believe that Pietermaritzburg in itself is like an empty canvas, and this is the crucial time to be the artist who paints the beautiful portraits, who can then say, I held a hand or I played a part in making Pietermaritzburg the developed or the beautiful city that it is today in the future.
Yeah, oh no, that's great. And then in terms of obviously you have what you call retro magazines, and I believe so far you've released 6 issues, if I'm not mistaken.
At this point, it's 5. It's 5.
Oh, 5. Okay, my bad. So what would you say the concept behind Retro magazine was, and what kind of impact has it had on your community?
The magazine itself was just came from a place of wanting to extend the brand and sort of just communicate with consumers and customers on a different level. For those people who aren't particularly customers or people who consume thrift and vintage clothing, the magazine just brought
a different approach to the culture as a whole. It was literally birthed from a place of me wanting to exploit my design and photography skills. So I just thought, like, you know what? Let me use what I have and incorporate my brand into it. And wow, I was shocked at how well it was received by the community, and how well it just it just grew beyond Peter Maritzburg. It went into Joburg, Cape Town, Northwest, Pretoria, Limpopo. You know, even managed to get other blogs to talk about the magazine and just talk about the issues. And I just think it was a very good idea. At this point, I'm still passionate about producing more magazines, but I'm also at a place where I understand that the market is shifting and what people want is shifting. Possibly not in the direction that favors written media or written or publications as a whole. So yeah, like, I think a part of me wants the magazine to be more than just something people scroll through. I want it to be something that people can interact with, that people can, you know, feel as though they are a part of. So until we can get an idea of how exactly we can do that, we won't be moving on to the 6th issue. However, we'll continue publishing articles on the website and under the blog.
Okay, sweet. And then what would you say the thought process is when deciding or selecting a particular theme for an issue of Retro magazine?
As the editor, it really just depends on how I'm feeling at that particular point, you know. If you just look at the titles of each magazine, the first one was Chasing Perfection, and at that time I think I was in a place where I was really trying to be perfect and trying to make everything I did perfect. And then the second issue, Where Are We Now, I was just looking at how far I've sort of come and the business has come and how far the business can go headed into the future. The third issue, Young and Thrifted, focused just mainly on the culture of thrifting, and that's where I began to explore other businesses apart from mine and sort of just like understanding where we stand as a culture. And the fourth issue, we looked at the identity issue. The fourth issue is called the identity issue, and in that issue we're just looking at transgender, genderqueer, homosexuality, and just trying to understand how we as individuals are in society and how we as individuals are different. And then the fifth issue, Nostalgia, just basically looked at the good old times, the times in the past when we didn't have any worries and, you know, things were good. So ideally I'd say each issue is an extension of where I'm at as an individual, as an editor, which I don't know, which might be a bit narcissistic, but at the same time I feel like ideas have to come from a place, and for them to be authentic they have to come from within.
Yeah, true. So okay, obviously you've mentioned the fact that you aren't quite ready to release the 6th issue of Retro magazine, but can you perhaps give us a slight indication of what it would be about or what it could be about, and also when people can sort of look forward to getting the 6th edition?
In terms of the 6th issue, I'd have to say as an editor, I still need to live a bit more, understand things a bit more, try and learn new things, because it's easy to just be stagnant and stay in the same frame of mind. But I understand that my readers are constantly evolving, and I personally am constantly evolving. So in order to stay true to what the magazine is, it has to keep evolving. And so hopefully for summer, spring, there will be the 6th issue. So by the end of this year, the next issue will be published. But like, as I'm saying, I feel like a lot of, just deep thoughts and meditation and just living has to take place before I can get to that point of saying the 6th issue is ready.
Yeah, so would you say that the issues of retro magazines that you've published so far and the ones going forward that you are yet to publish kind of indicate or mark the milestones that you've reached throughout your journey with retro?
Definitely, you hit it right on the head. That is exactly what each issue is.
Okay, sweet. And then obviously recently you upgraded your retro website and added a blog section to it. And I think the most recent, or rather should I say the last article that I read was the article on sustainable fashion. So can you just kind of unwrap your thoughts and views on sustainable fashion? And would you say that retro kind of aligns itself with the ideals of it?
That article was written by my colleague Mbosi Mzola.
Yeah.
He's very big on sustainability and just the whole idea of people living a sustainable life. I think retro as a vintage or thrift retailer, we automatically fall into the category of being sustainable and promoting sustainable fashion. There are two ways to look at it, and I would like to be able to sort of help make you understand it from the two sides. So sustainable fashion definitely is something that is slowly growing, and more people are starting to adopt it, and more people need to adopt it. It's good for the environment. It's good for us as individuals to also not be so much of consumers, to just consistently just buy, and it makes us sort of slow down and look at other alternatives. With that said, however, I also feel like fashion needs to also produce new ideas, and we can't be stuck in one way of thinking. Otherwise, there would be no fashion. It would all die. So I think the true challenge is balancing between sustainability and sort of producing new ideas and new concepts. And so when we can find a middle ground between that, I think we'll be in a perfect place. Because as a society and as human beings, we are naturally hardwired to create and to innovate new technologies, new styles, new fashions. So to some degree, we need to do that sustainably, but we can't also say we need to stop everything and focus on what we already have, because then we'd be limiting ourselves as individuals and as human beings.
And then could you just describe the evolution of retro and your journey from where you started out to where you are today?
Just thinking about that is just it's funny to think about, because when it all started, there wasn't any funding. There still isn't any funding to this day. It was just passion and a denim jacket. Like I said, a denim jacket, a lamp, and a camera. It just started from there.
Yeah.
Over time, it's just evolved to buying a better camera, buying new lenses, buying better lights, buying better paper just to set the scene, buying better products, just increasing the product line. There's been so much that has happened over time, introducing magazines, printing magazines, selling magazines, hosting events. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. I'm very grateful for all that I've managed to do within this short space of time. I'm also very grateful for all the people and colleagues that I've worked with over the years, and I'm just looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah. And what is the future of retro? Where is it going? And what can people sort of expect or look forward to from retro as a brand?
So the first and foremost, like the beginning of this new evolution is just really owning the whole online part of our brand, like really harnessing our online community and harnessing what it means to be an online retailer, which means obviously having excellent customer support. If a customer goes online, they're struggling to find something, or a customer goes online and they're not too sure about the size and whatnot, we really need to go the extra mile to make sure that the customer understands and the customer is secure about making the decision of buying that particular product, which we've been good at up until now and will continue being good at that. And it's just being even better at that. I think the most important aspect, like I said, to our business has been customer service and customer experience. And so fundamentally, that has been our key to success. And as long as we continue to capitalize on that, we'll be successful. Just expect a wider product line. We'll be introducing new products and new products for the summer, new products for winter. Like I said, the whole COVID-19 pandemic has really put stress on the business, but we are slowly just making it out. So yeah, just expect the summer to be hectic, because retro is shutting everything down. It's over. Like, watch out, because your girlfriend might be wearing ex-boyfriend jeans. Watch out.
Okay. And would you say that the thrift market is lucrative, and what advice would you give someone who wants to start up?
It's interesting that you asked me this question, because last weekend I was doing my statements of profits and loss for the past year, and it was just interesting to just look at the numbers and sort of understand what the numbers are saying. In terms of just the market itself, it's a very lucrative market. However, if you are in it for the money, like I say, you won't be successful, because you won't understand the people, you won't understand what it takes to build a brand. So in terms of it being lucrative, it's a very liquid business, so it requires very good business acumen and understanding and sort of maturity to understand how you are going to go forward. Because a lot of times when you see the money, you're like, okay, I need to do A, B, C, D, F, G, and you need to really think about the future, reinvest in or new products, and just so forth, and also grow your assets, assets that you use, cameras, lights, and whatnot. But there is an article that is on the blog website that basically is called How to Start an Online Thrift Business. And if you need more information, just simply go to retroretro.co.za /blog, and you will find that article in particular. And hopefully it will help anyone who is interested in entering the market. Yeah. It's a very competitive market, so it's a very competitive market. However, like I said, if you can find the customers and you can just run your business properly, you'll be successful. And I think it's and I think it's very good for people to start their own businesses and people to join this culture, because the more people that are offering these products also means that more people are being exposed, which is fantastic.
Okay, then would you say, okay, actually let me reword the question. Do you believe that retro is aligned with your ultimate purpose in life? How and why?
Although it might not be my life purpose, but it's definitely what I'm supposed to be doing at this point. It's definitely what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes these things just fall into place and you just realize that you're doing something before you even realize that you wanted to do something, but you end up doing it. And as each day goes by, the picture starts becoming more clearer and more vivid. And I feel like I've always wanted to, run a successful business, and, it's given me the ability and given me the opportunity to be a very smart businessman and also understand how to create something from nothing with nothing, so definitely. So going forward, there are many other business ventures that I'm into right now. There'll be more in the future, and hopefully, I always tell people that at some point I would love to have this company acquired and to sell it for an undisclosed amount. But we're slowly getting to we must all retire at some point.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But do you see retro only being an online shop, or do you one day see yourself setting up a physical location?
At this point, customers are always welcome to come to the studio and buy, or just look through the products that are available. But I strongly feel that online is the online sort of market is seriously untapped in South Africa, and I sort of want to be an example for other black and young people who are interested in getting into business, because right now the online space is very dominated by one sort of race, and I would like to be an example for other people, especially in South Africa, where young people have this idea that in order to get started you need a large sum of money, you need ABCD, and I feel like starting an online business is the best way to start, especially if you don't have money to get rent or money this and that. It's just it makes sense. But at this point in time, I want to continue just this whole wave of being online, because I see so much potential, and it's also connected me to so many people from different cities whom I would have never connected with. Some people have even become friends. I've never met them in my life before, but I have them on my WhatsApp, and we laugh at each other's statuses and whatnot. So I feel like that's where it's going, and I'm happy where I'm at. I do not look forward or aspire to have a shop, although I would like to have a warehouse and an office. So borderline, take a lot goals. Yeah, take a lot as goals.
Okay, sweet. No, that's great. That's awesome. And what is your final word of advice to young people wanting to start up any sort of business?
Passion. Passion comes first. Perseverance. You definitely have to look beyond where you are right now and see where you want to be in the future. And last, sacrifice. If you aren't prepared to sacrifice, then you're in the wrong game. Like sacrifice. Whether sacrificing money, sacrificing time, sacrificing years, sacrificing just friendships, sacrificing even potentially being in a relationship. It takes a lot, and as someone who's still on the journey, I'm not where I'd like to be, but I firmly believe that I'm headed in the direction. You really need to be crazy to some extent. You really, if you say a sane person wouldn't be able to start a business and stick with it until it becomes successful. So you have to be a little crazy and a bit wild, and a combination of everything. And you also have to be like an expert at something. If you're an expert at something, you can use that skill and apply it to your business, and that'll take you so much further over a short space of time.
Okay, sweet. And then where can we find you? Obviously you occupy the online space, so tell us where we can find you, stalk you, and just be part of the retro culture.
You can find the shop at retroretro.co.za. We are online, we're active. If you have any problems, just go to the About Us page or Contact Us page, and you can find my contact number to get a hold of me. If you just want to sort of be a part of the family here at Retro, you're always welcome to go have a look at us on Instagram at retroretro.za. Follow us, have a look through our stuff, and just double tap, show some love.
Okay, sweet. So thank you so much, Zuko, for joining me here on Real Talk Radio with your host G, and thank you for just coming on and inspiring the young people to kind of just take up space and take up space online, because I guess online is the future.
You are capable of great things. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
So you've heard it for yourselves, guys. You're more than capable of, starting up and doing whatever, you put your mind to, and you should never let anyone's opinions ever stop you from really going for whatever you want in life. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of On the Rise Mondays. I hope you've been inspired, and I hope that you guys have taken something out of this experience, and I will be leaving Zuko's details in the description. So guys, go ahead, go on to Retro. If you want to know how to start up your own online thrift, go read that article on the blog. If you want to buy some items, support a man out on the streets, you know what I'm saying, go hit up his Instagram, and just be part of the retro culture. So that's all from me, your host G, out here on Real Talk Radio. You know what it is, out here doing the things.